Once you have some decisions to make once and for all that once you make, you cannot change. So it's very important that you come to a firm that understands retirement planning from beginning to finish through it all. That's Durham Loyal. So give us a call or tune into our website for your free 1-hour consultation. Talk to you soon.
Oh, I see it. It's working.
I'm David Durham, President, CEO, founder of Durham Loyal. By way of a very brief introduction, I want to tell you the 3 things that have enabled us to stand out as a premier investment advisory firm in the United States. 1, by virtue of our name, Durham Loyal, we're loyal. And as a result of our loyalty to our clients are loyal to us. Secondly, we genuinely care. We care about your financial future. We live it. We've been doing retirement planning for over 40 years. I've been an advisor for almost 50 years. And so the care shows, but the care has to express itself, and we do. Thirdly, with that care, we have the expertise. All we do is retirement planning and every aspect of it. Our goal is to help you retire at the best of what you have as resources without any compromise or without any end, having too much of your lives left at the end of your living. Can I let you in on a little secret? You only retire once. And by the way, in retiring once, you have some decisions to make once and for all that once you make, you cannot change. So it's very important that you come to a firm that understands retirement planning from beginning to finish through it all. That's Durham Loyal. So give us a call or tune into our website for your free 1-hour consultation. Talk to you soon.
This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
I'm David Durham, President, CEO, founder of Durham Loyal. By way of a very brief introduction, I want to tell you the 3 things that have enabled us to stand out as a premier investment advisory firm in the United States. 1, by virtue of our name, Durham Loyal, we're loyal. And as a result of our loyalty to our clients are loyal to us. Secondly, we genuinely care. We care about your financial future. We live it. We've been doing retirement planning for over 40 years. I've been an advisor for almost 50 years. And so the care shows, but the care has to express itself, and we do. Thirdly, with that care, we have the expertise. All we do is retirement planning and every aspect of it. Our goal is to help you retire at the best of what you have as resources without any compromise or without any end, having too much of your lives left. Good evening, everyone. My name is David Durham. Welcome to our masterclass sponsored by Durham Loyal. We're going to answer a big question. Can I afford to retire now? Now stay tuned. I know you have a lot of options and you've heard a lot of things about retirement planning, but I'm going to share with some things with you this evening that will give you confidence in whether or not you can afford to retire now and maintain that retirement lifestyle throughout the rest of your lives. There are strategies that I'm going to share with you tonight that could make a difference of an extra $100,000 to $200,000 in your pockets for your lifespan. I know that sounds big, but I'm going to support it. Stay tuned. Let's get started. As we go through the program tonight, which is a 25-minute program, we're going to cover the necessary material, one, but secondly, and very importantly, I'm an advisor 50 years. We've had our own firm for retirement planning 42 years, so I'm going to give you some technical information that will be very helpful, much of which is not typically available to the public. And then I'm going to give you the benefit of my own experience in retirement planning for over 42 years. We'll have opportunity for questions and answers, so stay tuned because we will answer questions that you will have along the way. Make a note, write them down. We'll answer them, I promise you. Here's the big question. We call it the red zone. The red zone means this. I think I'm within 2 to 5 years of retiring. And for some of you, you've recently retired, but do you really have the confidence that you retired at the right time and that you can get the most out of your money and your resources for the rest of your lives? We call this red zone retirement planning. Stay tuned. A big part of retirement planning is Social Security. So we're going to dive right into that subject because in Middle America, and by the way, most of our listeners would be considered somewhere in the realm of Middle America. It is said that approximately 40% of a retiree's budget comes from Social Security benefits, and I'm going to submit to you forthrightly that is the area of least information from financial advisors, Social Security employees, accountants, and CPAs. Oh my, and yet it's such a big part of your retirement. So let's talk briefly about what you really need to know and how you can know it for yourselves. You need to know what benefits you would receive at 62. Why? That's your earliest point that you can receive a Social Security benefit. Unless you're a widower, it's age 60. But then you also have something called your full retirement age. So depending on the year of your birth, you will know whether your full retirement age is 66 or some month thereafter, 66, 1 month, 2 months, 10 months, up to age 67. And I'll share with you in a moment why that's important to know. The latest date is age 70. So why is that important? Because if you retired, let's say at 62, it might not be to your benefit to take Social Security because one, maybe other assets and other sources of income will support your lifestyle while something else happens. Your Social Security benefit is guaranteed to grow at 6% a year between 62 and full retirement age. So let's say your full retirement age is 67. 5 years it grew for 30%. Now, something else is very significant. At 67, or for some of you, it might be 66, as in my case, your Social Security benefit is guaranteed to grow at 8% a year. Well, that's a big difference between 62 and 70, isn't it? But there's a catch. That, by the way, I don't want you to learn the hard way. That's watch out for the tax torpedo. Because if you take Social Security early, what is early? Before full retirement age, and you still have earned income. Earned income is from salary, not pensions, interest, dividends, rental income. No, salary income, excuse me,
you could be subject to a tax, and we call it a penalty. And I'm going to take you through an example of that in just a moment. So timing for Social Security is very, very important as it relates to your other assets and sources of income, excuse me, as it relates to taxes. And so we need to understand the timing very well. And Social Security, by the way, is not allowed to tell you anything about timing, strategy, or taxes. And that's one of the reasons our teaching is so popular. Taxes are a big challenge, and it can change your timing and strategy. And so we need to look at taxes as it relates to timing for you taking your benefit, because Social Security benefits and other assets are taxed totally differently, especially if you take a benefit early. So let's go through this very quickly. You have what's called an earnings test. That means you're receiving Social Security before full retirement age, but you're still working. Uh-oh. So your income is $62,000 a year, as it says in the bottom, but you're only allowed to make $24,000. You have an excess income, and that excess income is taxed at 50%. So if you had a benefit of $24,000 a year, your benefit could be reduced to zero, a very skinny zero, just from improper timing. So it's very important for you to understand timing. Now, let's keep going. I'm going to talk about eligibility. What do I mean by eligibility? What does it take for you to qualify to receive Social Security benefits, and how do you qualify? Well, it's very interesting because you have what we call non-workers at the very top of your screen. A non-worker means they're married more than 10 years and they hardly ever worked, or they had very low earnings, or actually, in many cases, as with clients of mine in South Florida, no income whatsoever. You need 40 credits. And if you haven't worked, you don't have 40 credits. But the good news is this: if you've been married 10 years or more and a spouse that has little to no benefits, or even not 40 credits, they can qualify under the spouse that has achieved 40 credits, which is a very good thing. Now let's talk about widows. That's also called a survivor benefit. And so the beauty of that is this: again, you were married 10 years or more, and one spouse that's passed away has a higher benefit. The surviving spouse automatically steps up to that higher benefit, and they can do that as early as age 60. Now, here's an interesting strategy, and once again, most advisors and Social Security employees either don't know or are not allowed to tell you these strategies. So let's use myself as an example. My wife passed away a number of years ago. At age 60, I was eligible to receive a widow benefit. It was much less than mine because my wife taught in a private school, income much lower than mine, but I didn't take the benefit. Why? Because my earned income was way too high. But my full retirement age, remember that full retirement age is 66. So when I reached 66, I did something very interesting. I took that widower benefit, which was much less than mine, while mine grew automatically at 8% a year. And then at 70, I dropped the widower benefit and took mine. Now that is a function of strategy and timing for a survivor benefit. We have another type of benefit, and that's for unmarried children. So you are an adult and you are receiving a Social Security benefit, and you happen to have children living at home that are underage, younger than 18.
Could spousal survivor benefits increase your household income? The question that we have on the bottom.
Oh, okay. I'll get to that in just a moment.
Okay.
So unmarried children, you could have 2 children at home you're receiving a Social Security benefit, you could get an additional amount of money. I've seen $1,200, $2,400 a month just because you have unmarried children still living at home and you are receiving a benefit. Now, what was that question, please? Could a spouse or survivor, I can't read it.
Could a spouse or survivor benefits increase your household income?
No,
Oh,
it's a totally separate calculation.
okay.
Now, let's go to divorcees. Once again, you were married 10 years or more. You did not remarry within 2 years. You might go take a divorcee benefit from that ex without affecting their benefit while yours is growing, and there's a crossover point. We, by the way, have the software to tell you what is the best strategy and the best timing. So I have clients who are taking a divorcee benefit for a few years, and then at a certain point, because their own benefit is growing automatically, they stop the divorcee benefit and take the higher benefit. That's also a function of personalized planning, which, by the way, I mentioned questions and answers. We do that in every segment of this program, and you are entitled for attending this class this evening to a free Social Security timing and strategy report. It doesn't involve your Social Security number. It does involve a 30-minute consultation, but it will take your situation and say, here's the best timing, here's the best strategy, and here's what it means in future income for you as a part of your overall retirement planning. There's also disability. Children can apply for disability benefits. Adults can apply as early as age 50. I will say in a quick fashion that qualifying for disability benefits is becoming more and more difficult in these days. Now, I've talked about survivor benefits. Remember, what is a survivor benefit? A spouse passed away, and you are entitled, because you are 60 or above, to receive that benefit. And you might, even if it's lower than yours, remember this, you might take that one for a while yours grows automatically, and then jump over to yours. We can run the math for you to say, what's the best timing? What's the best strategy? And when is the crossover point to take your own benefit? So I mentioned this to you, and I'd like to say it again. Strategy report. You need to tell Social Security what to do and when to do it and how to do it. And the best way to do that is a 10-page strategy report that we provide. There's no catch. There's no cost. You have a 30-minute visit with us. We ask you a series of questions, and you can walk away with a personalized Social Security timing and strategy report that also reflects tax impact to help you with timing, and should you take income from other sources such as investable assets first before you take Social Security. Social Security is a big part of your retirement planning. And here's something very interesting. A recent statistic shows that 90% of the people receiving Social Security benefits right now are receiving less than they could or should. I see many cases where, with proper timing in strategy and timing, it could increase the overall benefits to that household using average life expectancies by $100,000 to $200,000. Now, folks, that makes a big difference, doesn't it? So stay tuned. We're going to go further and help you even more. All right. The next part of your overall retirement planning is your portfolio. You have savings, mostly in 401ks, 403bs if you're a nonprofit, 457 if you're, for example, fireman. You have IRAs, you have Roth IRAs, and you have other investments that you've saved for a primary purpose, which is what? To meet your retirement budget. And I want to submit something to you from all my experience in retirement planning. How you look at your portfolio that is now postured for very soon to be retirement income is to be totally different from how you approached it while you were working and contributing every 2 weeks to your retirement savings. Let's go through it. You have a portfolio. 80% of the portfolios that I see are on autopilot and considered diversified. In other words, an advisor or an advisory firm has asked you, what is your risk tolerance? And you're diversified, and over 80% of the accounts I see have never been changed. Secondly, a very key point, remember these investments primarily are intended for future retirement income that I'm going to draw on month in and month out, regardless of the performance of that portfolio. Well, the stock market can go up and down, and so can the bond market. In fact, statistically speaking, over the last 75 years, we average every 5 years seeing a major downturn in the market. We're postured for one now. In spite of tariffs, stocks are highly overpriced. Inflation clips at our heels. And the question is this: is your portfolio properly balanced between risk and safety? The old traditional way of balancing risk with safety, I will submit to you, with primary advisory firms is outdated. Because on the safe side, to balance your risk, they're using a lot of bonds and target funds. And target funds, for the closer you are to retirement, are also heavily loaded with bonds. Oftentimes in my career, especially in recent years, I look at portfolios and they've lost money. And they say, well, everybody's lost money in the year 2022. And I say, let me look at your portfolio. You didn't lose money primarily because of the market and stocks and mutual funds and stocks. You lost money because of your safe allocations in bonds and target funds. So here's the good news. In a second opinion, we give you a portfolio review that says, number one, what's your time horizon for retiring? Number two, is the risk you're taking appropriate for your risk tolerance and your time horizon? Number three, after contributions to your retirement accounts, savings, what is your true net return after fees that are disclosed and hidden? We want you to understand what is actually happening in that portfolio, and is it best postured to generate the most retirement income in a long-lasting, safe way? We can answer those questions for you. And now it brings us to another very good point.
You have a question, if working after retirement might reduce my benefits?
No, it will not. Good question. So now we have another factor. You've heard of RMD. RMD is an IRS term that stands for Required Minimum Distributions. So what happens? With retirement accounts, we call them qualified accounts. When you reach age 73, you are forced to take money out of retirement accounts, whether you need the money or not. Now, it's possible that it'll go back to age 70 and a half, because for many years, the required age was 70 and a half until COVID hit. So you have these various accounts, and you're going to be forced to take money out of that IRA, that 401k, that 403b, that 457, federal employee, thrift savings plan, whether it's up, down, or someplace else. So once again, it's vitally important that you understand how to balance in the best way risk with safety, because you never want to be in a position where you're forced to take money out of an account that's losing. And I will submit something to you, and I have graphs to prove it for 25 years. You're retired, you're taking out 5% a year, the required percentages are an average of 4%, and your account is pretty well tied to the S&P 500 and a little bit less because you have a balance with bonds. I would submit to you, with the 25-year law of averages, in 14 to 18 years, you're out of money. Oh, I'm not trying to be dramatic. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just here to say you need a second opinion. And by the way, you need that second opinion from someone besides the person who gave you the first opinion. That's what we offer for you. questions and answers.
Well, we say first, working after retirement might reduce my benefits, which we say no, right?
That's right.
And we got here another question. Divorcing or remarriage.
Could impact my benefits.
Uh-huh.
Well, if you remarry within 2 years of divorce, you have just canceled your ability to receive a divorcee benefit. Now, here's a good point on divorce.
Uh-huh.
You do not have to ask that ex-spouse if you can take a benefit from their account. Why? Because it doesn't reduce their account. So I had a case where a lady was married and divorced 3 times. And she was 62. She was worth almost $2 million, but her earned income was next to nothing. So she found out how much benefit would come from each of those 3, chose the highest one. We did calculations mathematically to show that she would take a divorcee benefit from 62 to 66. And at 66, take her own benefit because it was much higher. So that's a function of divorcee planning. Good question.
What is the best age to retire?
That all depends on, number one, are you still working? And do you have taxation during that year of retirement? Number 2, can you afford to retire by virtue of receiving Social Security benefits and your other investments? You could have a pension, you could have rental income, you could have dividends and interest. So what we do, by the way, we're almost jumping ahead. We take your Social Security timing and strategy report. We then combine it with your portfolio review, which tells us at a chosen retirement date, how much income can you realistically, on a long-term basis, expect an income from your investable assets. We put that together and we form a retirement roadmap that very critically zeroes in on the best time for you to retire and the best time to take Social Security. Do you take it first, or do you take your necessary budget from other investments and other sources of income first and later take Social Security? We provide a retirement roadmap for attending today's class that provides all that information personalized to you, no cost, no obligation, no solicitation. I just mentioned a roadmap to retirement. So very, very important, because as a reminder, you need to understand what is the best strategy and timing for you and or your spouse in written form. And by the way, you can take that report to Social Security when you're ready and show it to them. A key point with Social Security: Social Security employees are trained, restricted, and motivated to start your benefits as soon as possible so that they're more likely to be subject to taxation and therefore also the lowest benefit. And they're trained, restricted, and motivated to give you as little information as possible. Why? Because there is a question looming in the society today that says, will my retirement benefits be there in full for the rest of my life when I go to take them? The short answer is Social Security has always solved an announced future deficit, and there's every reason, since Congress controls it, to believe that it will be in the future. But you need to tell Social Security what to do and how to do it with your own plan, and not be subject to what they're not allowed to tell you and what they might tell you that's in their best interest. So we take that with your portfolio review and what we can realistically expect in income. We might make suggestions as to changes, particularly how we're balancing risk with safety and what we can rely on for persistent, safe retirement income. We put that together and you have a roadmap to retirement that's all yours, personalized to you.
Somebody's asking about the estate planning, so trust, will and trust.
Do you have an estate plan in place? Well, that's another part of our services that we provide. I reviewed one yesterday and they thought they had a estate plan and they had signed it. Never was it notarized and witnessed. And I found 3 or 4 very big mistakes, oversights in that retirement plan. So we did a free review of their estate plan and came back in with recommendations for a will, a durable power of attorney, a medical power of attorney, a living will, a trust, a pour over will, and a couple of other forms that are very necessary to complete your retirement planning with estate planning. Here's estate planning. 80% of Americans in middle America do not have estate planning. Why? They procrastinate, they don't understand, and they're not sure where to turn. For attending this class this evening, you can say, I would like an estate planning review. There's no charge. I understand it very well. 42 years in retirement planning holistically, which includes estate planning and includes tax planning. So take advantage of our free offer and let us help you with your estate planning. You need a will, but do you necessarily need a trust? And if you do, why? And what are the benefits? We can help you with all of that, and you'll be much further down the road in your overall retirement planning. So we provide 3 reports for you. Remember, a Social Security timing and strategy report. It's in color. It's personalized to you. It doesn't require your Social Security numbers, but it does require that you know how much you would receive at 62. That's your earliest date to receive. At your full retirement age, for some of you would be 66, for many of you between 66 and 67. It takes into consideration your exact timing and your earned income. As a result, we can then move on to a portfolio review. From that, we can design for you a customized retirement roadmap that says, 1, what's my timing? Remember, can I afford to retire now? You need to know, because I've seen cases where people could retire today. I had a lady in this week, and she said, I've been a registered nurse for many years, great job, but I've had it up to my ears. I want to get out. Can I afford to retire now? And the answer was, in her case, because of her earned income, it was best to wait until December. She said, I can live with that as long as I know that December is my date, number 1. Number 2, I have enough income to more than support my lifestyle and cater for taxes, inflation, and other unforeseen circumstances. And then finally, she's doing estate planning. She has a retirement roadmap. That's what you're entitled to receive for participating in this class this evening. You'll know when to retire. When's the right timing? And can I maintain my retirement lifestyle safely and for the rest of my life? And if you have a respectable other or surviving spouse, for the rest of their lives. Very legitimate questions, and you deserve the best answers. Here we are, experienced and specialized in retirement planning. So we invite you to schedule a complimentary review. Click the link below. You can email us, you can text us a message. Feel free to call our office at 1-888-281-5814. Visit our website, DurhamLoyal.com. And we will help you get established. You'll meet with myself one-on-one, and I make a 3-fold promise to you. 1, you'll enjoy the visit and meeting our staff. 2, you'll leave knowing much more than when you came as it relates to your personal situation. 3, we do not use this relationship and this meeting as an opportunity to solicit you. So if we give you great advice in the best of Social Security timing and strategy, in the best of how your portfolio should be realigned in allocations, and in the best of retirement roadmap, and you do nothing or you do it elsewhere, we do not chase you, we do not challenge you, we do not chastise you. We provide a free service to give you an opportunity to see what real retirement planning is all about in your best interest. You'll love that you came, and we'll be privileged to take the time and help you through this planning process.
We have one question over here. What about Medicare?
Okay,
When should I start applying for?
very good question. We have a Medicare department. Remember, Durham Loyal is a holistic planning firm. So we have a Medicare department. We have a federal benefits department. Typically, you apply for Medicare 90 days before age 65. But for some of you, you're still working. You have group health insurance. You are exempt. I've seen people that didn't get Medicare A and B or a Medicare supplement or advantage plan until they left work at age 67 or 68. So you're not required to have Medicare A and B if you still have group health insurance. Now, some employers will require at age 65, even if you're still working for them, that you go get your own insurance. We provide that for you. You should apply 90 days in advance of turning age 65. We're happy to help you.
We have another question over here. What if I made a mistake? Can I stop the retirement?
Oh, okay. Here's the way that works. If you find that you or Social Security made a mistake in timing, strategy, taxation, within 12 months of you starting to receive your benefits, as long as you pay back what you've received, you can stop your Social Security and then pick it back up when you feel it's best timing and strategy for you.
Okay, perfect.
More questions? We're here. We're happy to help you. Fire those questions at us. I'm happy to answer them.
Oh, actually, there's something here. What if my husband has the 40 points?
Okay, so here's a married couple. The husband has the 40 points, but you do not.
Yes.
You've been married 10 years or more. You qualify for part of his benefits by virtue of having been married 10 years or more. So here's a great example. Husband has 40 points, and his amount of Social Security at full retirement age, let's call it 67, is $3,000 a month. Now, he has to be receiving the benefit in order for the spouse without 40 points to receive a benefit, and they have to be 62 or higher. So the husband with 40 points has a benefit, remember, of $3,000 a month. This spouse, the wife, does not have 40 points. She can receive at 62 approximately 40% of his. If she waited until full retirement age, she would receive 50% of his, which would be $1,500 a month. So imagine increasing the household income by $1,500 a month more on behalf of the spouse that never achieved 40 points. Very good example.
Oh, I have another question here from Joshua. How can I prepare for rising healthcare costs in retirement?
Typically, if you have Medicare A and B in an Advantage plan through a carrier, your health insurance, your Advantage or supplement plan with a private carrier is covered through Social Security. Right now, it's $170 and change a month. A few years ago, it was $145. So it does increase. But remember, it comes out of your Social Security benefit. And Social Security has an average cost of living increase of just on 3% a year, which helps provide for rising healthcare costs in retirement. We love these questions. Keep them flowing.
Okay, let me see here. What if I retire and then I want to have a part-time job?
Okay, perfect. So you retired, but you're bored or you'd like additional income. Please remember, if you get a part-time job, before you reach full retirement age, you have to watch your earnings limit from that part-time job. So the earnings limit, if you are before full retirement age, is $23,000 a year. The year before your full retirement age, it's $56,000 a year. So it's very important to understand how much your part-time job would generate an income. If you have your own company, you might adjust your income to keep it under the limit, because remember in the example I showed you, if you make too much earned income, part-time or full-time, your Social Security benefit before full retirement age can be heavily taxed in what I call a penalty.
Perfect. Okay. Is any more questions? We're here for a couple of minutes more.
Okay, I'm sitting here waiting, happy to help you. Take advantage of the free consultation. It could be Social Security only. It can very much include a portfolio review that enables you to walk away with a retirement roadmap within that session, or even an additional session, no charge. You can have an estate plan review to see what's best for you, or to see if your documents that you presently have might be too old, too outdated, not current. We'll help you with all of that. We're a holistic planning firm. Thank you again for your attendance. I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you again soon, live and in person. It can be in our offices, it can be by Zoom, phone call, or at another location if you feel that you're too far from our offices in Pembroke Pines, Florida. Thank you again. Have a nice evening, and let's get together. David Durham on Thursday evening.
Well, thank you very much for your attendance. You're going to receive a text message with the link of this program, and as well, you're going to have a link for the meeting. So it's going to be easy to schedule a meeting.
Very good. You probably, if you didn't hear that, for responding, you'll receive a link that helps you get tied in with a time, place for an appointment. So take advantage of that link, stay tuned, and let's get together. Good night now.
Okay. Thank you.